Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Folks, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you who made purchases through Rosen's Online during the month of March. We actually had a record last month in terms of online sales, and that is because of you. We really appreciate each and every order, no matter how big or how small that comes through our site, because every order means a lot to a small business like ours. So thank you so much. Guys, we had a ton of emails come through last week. However, there were a lot of kind of repeat questions, things that we've already addressed here on the podcast. So what we wanted to do is we actually selected 5 that were a little bit different from some of the previous questions. So without any further ado, why don't we jump right in? Question number 1 is from Steve. Hey Tim, last fall my crepe myrtle was infested with white crawling bugs. I killed them with insect killer. The bark and limbs are all black with a dark powder. There are also white moldy looking spots. The limbs are flexible. Will it survive? Is there anything I should do now to help it? So believe it or not, you actually have 2 separate problems, not one. Let's first talk about the black sooty mold, which is what you're actually seeing, kind of that powder that's on the branches and probably on the leaves as well. That's actually caused because of the insect infestation that you mentioned in your email that you were fighting about. You were probably dealing with something like aphids, or frankly, there are a number of insects that create what's called honeydew. That honeydew is a sticky substance, and what happens is the insects get all over the tree, and the branches of the tree can get a little bit sticky. Well, in the air, as a lot of you know, there are mold spores, and they're constantly floating around. Well, what happens is that honeydew will actually cause those mold spores to stick to it as it's blowing through the tree. That mold spore then actually feeds off the honeydew and actually grows. The good news is it's really not hurting the tree. It looks bad, I understand it, and unless it's a terrible, terrible outbreak of the black sooty mold to the point where it's actually preventing the tree from getting sunlight, it really is just cosmetic, and we can help you deal with it. The second issue is actually you have a scale problem, and the scale issue is actually what you see, those white, what look like mold spots. They're not mold at all, they're actually egg sacs. So again, when you had that infestation of insects that you mentioned, this is all part of that process. So how do we get rid of it? Well, the first thing we want to do is put down something called Bonide's Annual Tree and Shrub Insect Control. And this is going to help a lot of those future insects from coming back. However, that's not really going to do anything for the black sooty mold that you have right now, and it's not necessarily going to do much for the insects that you currently are dealing with. So how do we deal with those? Well, the first thing I would put down is neem oil. I would put it all over the tree. That's going to help mitigate the mold. It's also going to repel a lot of those insects. Now, you already said that you use an insect control to help kill the existing insects. If you're more comfortable using that, that's totally fine. But again, putting down neem oil is going to be a little bit more preventative than just trying to kill what's there. It's going to help in the future, especially as we get into the warmer months of late spring and summer. Then finally, what you can do right now, if you're really concerned about it, is actually get like some natural dish soap, some warm water and a rag, and just start wiping down the branches and even some of the leaves real gently to get that mold off. In some cases, you might even be able to pick off some of the scale. But again, if you use those 3 products, maybe in conjunction with whatever insect product you previously used, you should get the outbreaks, the 2 outbreaks that we're talking about, under control to the point where they won't necessarily come back next year if, again, you use everything from a preventative maintenance perspective. Now, the other thing you're going to want to do to make sure that crepe myrtle is really healthy is feed it Garden Trust. Garden Trust has a real balanced NPK fertilizer ratio. It's a really great product. Crepe myrtles love it. And again, you can get it over on rosensonline.com, but put some of that down to keep that tree nice and healthy as you kind of work with the tree to help get through these couple of infestations. The next question is from Lois. Hey Tim, in November 2022, I had sod laid. I don't have a green thumb, but want to know what should be done before the first cut. So I don't know where your lawn is in terms of when it needs to be mowed, but there are 2 products that you want to put down right now. If you need to mow your grass because it's frankly just too long for you, then what I would do is I would mow it and then get these products down ASAP. If your grass is not ready to be mowed, you can still put these products down and then in a couple of weeks get out there with your lawnmower and take care of the grass. So what are the two products? The first obviously is Turf Trust Professional Starter Formula. This is our #1 selling product over at rosensonline.com. It is a lawn-lasting, slow-release fertilizer. It's gonna last up to 13 weeks. If you're already familiar with it, you know what a great product it is. I would go ahead and get that down right now. Again, if you need to mow your grass, then mow your grass and the next day, get down Turf Trust. The second product that I would highly recommend, especially because you have sod, is Kickstart. Kickstart is specifically formulated to help grass in terms of root development, and a strong root system within grass allows the lawn to take in more nutrition from the soil. So what Kickstart's gonna do is not only allow the grass to take in more of the nutrition that Turf Trust is putting into the soil, but it's also going to take in a lot of those additional nutrients, that minerals, iron, things like that are found in the soil already. So again, get down Turf Trust Professional Starter Formula right now, and then because you have sod, I would use Kickstart at least once a month. A couple of times a month wouldn't hurt it either. Again, it's an organic product, it's not gonna burn your lawn, and it's really specifically designed to strengthen your roots, which, as you know, is the most important thing for establishing sod. The third question is from Laurel. Hey Tim, I have 3 Korean lilac trees in my front yard. Should I use Garden Trust this spring to enhance the blooming of these trees? So you absolutely want to use Garden Trust for these 3 trees. Garden Trust is specifically designed to enhance the blooms of flowers, flowering trees. It's gonna allow your vegetable gardens to produce more fruit, more veggies. So again, Garden Trust is absolutely the best choice in this scenario. Now, something like Plant Trust would be fine, but Plant Trust is really geared a little bit more towards your deciduous trees, your evergreens, things like that. What that does is that's really gonna promote more of the foliage growth. Plant Trust, again, is a really great product, but with something like these lilac trees, again, that have those really beautiful blooms, any type of flowering tree, you definitely wanna use Garden Trust. The next question is from Diane. Hey Tim, does Bonide annual tree and shrub insect control kill Japanese beetles? So we talked about this product a couple of questions ago, and to answer your question, yes, it'll help you control Japanese beetles. This product is really designed to be a soil drench. And so what happens is it actually works into the soil and is taken up into the tree through the root system. It's really effective on minor and boring insects, but it's absolutely going to help control future infestations of Japanese beetles. And frankly, there are a ton of different insects that is going to help you control. It's a great product, and as always, it's available over at Rosens Online. The last question for today is from Lily. Hey Tim, how do I get rid of bagworms? I can see them hanging on my blue spruce shrub. The front part of it has already begun to turn brown. So when it comes to bagworms, there's actually 2 options. The first is really to just cut off the branch that the bagworm, that nest, is on, and go ahead and discard it. And by discard it, I mean burn it. So that would obviously solve the problem immediately. Short term and long term though, what you can do is use a product like 8 by Bonide, which is going to kill any existing bagworms, but it's also going to help prevent future bagworms and frankly a multitude of other insects. So you can use this product on trees, on shrubs, you can use it selectively in your gardens. Again, it's a really good product, but just read the label carefully because again, it's not gonna play well with all plants. But again, in terms of the issue you just described with the bagworms, I would first try to see if you can physically remove the nest by cutting off all or some of the branch that it's on, burning it, and then getting down something like 8 by Bonide to kill whatever you missed and take care of anything that might come back in the future. All right, folks, just a couple of final thoughts. The Turf Trust Triple Play is still going on over at Rosens Online. We are going to run this through the end of April 15th. So again, the end of tax day is when we're gonna turn this off. So you got about 10 days to place your order over at rosensonline.com. If you're not familiar with it, the Turf Trust Triple Play contains Turf Trust lawn fertilizers. It could be the starter or the maintenance, depending on where you live and what your needs are. It's going to contain Turf Trust broadleaf weed control with Gallery, which again is a fantastic product. You gotta get it down really soon. The window for this product being most effective is starting to close, so you gotta get this product down really in the next 10 days. And then it also contains Turf Trust crabgrass control with Dimension. You've still got some time, crabgrass. We've got a couple of more weeks where we can still get this product down, and it is gonna be really effective against crabgrass. So the Turf Trust Triple Play is available in 10,000 feet of coverage or 5,000 feet of coverage. So again, head over to Rosens Online. You got 10 days before we're turning this promotion off. Guys, in the coming weeks, we need to talk about your lawn and kind of what the next steps are. So we're gonna talk next week and hit a little bit on grub control and start looking ahead to when we wanna get that down. We're also gonna start diving into a little bit more in terms of identifying and finding lawn disease. What are some products that we can use to help fight that? In terms of right now, if you haven't fertilized with Garden Trust or Plant Trust for any of your flowering trees, your flowering bushes, maybe you're just looking to improve the foliage of some of your plants. Again, if you're not sure whether now is the time to fertilize or maybe in the fall, then go ahead and reach out to me. You can send me an email, tim@rosensonline.com, and I'll absolutely help you figure out what product you need and when you want to put it down. But if you are aware of it, of the kind of tree you have, you know what the fertilizing schedule is, you know that for a lot of the trees and shrubs and bushes that we have out there right now, that early spring is when you want to get down some of this fertilizer. So again, head over to rosensonline.com to find your Plant Trust, to find your Garden Trust. Kickstart is another great product that you can use on your trees, on your shrubs this time of year as well. Folks, really want to thank you. Again, we had an amazing month of March thanks to you. As always, we appreciate the time that you devote to us every single week. We hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you next week. God bless.